This is Between Hook Sets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
There you go. You got the ice fishing hook set down.
Hooked it right into my finger.
Or you are starting to get into a little ice season.
Oh, yeah. I was going to try, but I decided to wait for my buddy Chad because he's got to be away at work. And I thought the kind thing to do would be to wait for him.
Yeah, you don't want to jump on early and leave your buddy off because
no, that's rude. I spent a little bit of time today. I was shining up that pinhead. Is that shiny? I mean, I was spit shining these things, going crazy. I was doing a little bit of the fingernail polish on the back there because I like the orange better than the gold, and so you deal with that. And I pulled out all my clam stuff to shine it up because we've got to impress our guest tonight. Oh, by the way, if you're going to make a Canadian trip, you might want to book her because it'll save you 41%.
I guess Trump's
been dancing around the internet. Right. Yep, no doubt. So we reached out to Thayne because, well, frankly, everybody's talking about Clam these days. A little bit about Humminbird and the Mega 2. That's supposed to be a big deal on Monday, but this past week and the last couple of weeks, it's just been all about Clam outdoors. So let's bring Thayne in to join us. Thayne, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, guys. Thanks for having me on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I suppose ice is forming up in that neck of the woods, and products are probably starting to really start moving right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, people are getting jacked up for this ice season. We've had, last year is kind of the ice season that never was. Unfortunately, the year prior to that, it started gangbusters, and then we got a pile of snow that just kind of held the ice making back for quite a while, and it just really wasn't the greatest of seasons. But there's a lot of energy in the air for a really, really good season. You know what, guys? It's shaken up. I mean, we're making ice like crazy. This wind out there today is not helping much, but I think we had a pretty solid base, so I think we're going to be good.
Yeah, we got to start.
Yeah, I drove down to Lower Brule today and went by the old Iron Nation boat ramp, and don't want to say this too loud. I hope it warms up because that whole Iron Nation boat ramp is blow ice right now because of 40, 50 mile an hour winds. A little treacherous to get on, but it's gonna work out. I mean, we'll freeze up, and on the Missouri River we usually freeze up a lot later.
Mm-hmm.
But the bay, I went by Iron Nation, Antelope Creek, all that stuff. The back bays were all starting to freeze up. Just the main lake is, we can put a boat in still, but we can put a boat in year round in Pierce. So that is a benefit. A couple of years ago, we had our 24 hours of ice fishing tournament, and my cousin lives up in Minnesota, and he texts me and he goes, "You're having an ice fishing tournament?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "My buddies are in Pierre today boat fishing." I said, "Yeah, they're 30 miles from me. That's welcome to the river and welcome to the Missouri River in Pierre, South Dakota. That's what happens. We can boat fish year round."
Yeah, that's kind of a neat opportunity there. I've heard a lot of guys that they ice fish and boat fish in the same day, which is would be kind of fun to do. Nothing I've done, but would be kind of fun.
It's really an odd thing, January, February, when you see boat trailers behind boats. And anytime it hits 40 degrees them days, you drive across the bridge and there's a minimum of 10 boats on the water. Anytime it hits 40, there's 10 boats on the water in January, February, March.
Really?
Yeah, it's something special. And then you can drive 30 miles downriver and be on ice and drive your pickup.
That's nuts.
But
I suppose you've got fast water and you've got water that's barely moving, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So big news in the clam world. You have a new CEO. Our good friend Greg Waldner has joined Clam forces after Northland selling, which is going to be fun to watch. Greg is very good at what he does in the industry, and he seems to elevate companies. And I mean, honestly, though, how do you elevate Clam? What don't you guys do?
We do a lot. There's no doubt about that. But first of all, we're super excited to have Greg on board. He brings to the Clam family just a tremendous wealth of knowledge, industry knowledge, and we're excited to kind of tap into some of that. Additionally, we've been kind of, I wouldn't say operating without a president CEO, but we've had a lot of people just managing dual roles in our executive team, and it's just one of those things where I think our owner Dave Osborne had kind of been. I think he had his eye out there and his ear to the ground, and just waiting for the right opportunity with the right individual. And once again, this is me just completely shooting from the hip because I've had all of about 10 minutes with Greg in the break room as well as in passing while we were getting ready for St. Paul's show this weekend. But I feel like when that name came across Dave Osborne's desk, I feel like it just made sense for him to reach out. And boy, you know what? We're super excited. I hadn't met Greg. I know a ton of people in this industry, and Brian and I were talking. He's one I didn't know. So we're gonna have to change that here over the next few years, and excited to do so. But yeah, we're very excited and can't wait to get things rolling.
So what's big, new, and exciting besides the CEO news for Clam bringing to the St. Paul Ice Show this year? I mean, that's this weekend. I mean, you're leaving probably tomorrow to set up.
No, I just got back from setting up.
Okay, you were already there. It's usually a week long.
Yeah, I got home. We rolled out this morning at about 9 o'clock. And we got our carpet set. We got not all the displays, but quite a few of our larger displays are set up. Tomorrow we'll just be, taking it almost to the finish line, and then Friday morning, just prior to show opening, we'll put the final stages, the finishing touches, and we'll be ready to rock. But as far as new stuff this year, guys, like I said, one of the things that I think consumers are going to be the most excited about, and there's a handful, but two of the things that I'm really excited about is we've added 2 new shelters. As I spoke of earlier, we didn't really have a whole lot of ice. So there were a lot of people that purchased new products last year that maybe were like, now what, So we kind of held back on the newness a little bit because we knew there's going to be a lot of people out there that have brand new stuff already. But the popular X600 hub shelter and our best-selling 2-person fish trap, the Nanook, we offered another model, or we're offering a new model. It's part of our Folds of Honor series of products, our ISOP series, where a portion of the proceeds of the purchase of all of our ISOPs products, which is suits, rod reel combos, and now these 2 shelters. Very, very excited about them. The X600 ISOPS edition is all black. It has a lot of, American type, it's got stars on it. It's got stripes on it. It's got our ISOPS logo, but it's an all black hub shelter with all the bells and whistles, and even a few added in there that our others don't bring to the table, like a sewn in rod holders on the side and whatnot. Then the ISOPS, the Ranger, which is essentially a Nanook. We took that Nanook shelter and we went with our 1.25" X series poles. So now you're looking at a very, very popular small 2-person shelter. Comes in at a nice weight range as well as price point, and now you've got the rugged durability of our 1.25" diameter X series pole system. So, and that's also an all black shelter with a lot of the branding of Folds of Honor, ISOPS, and a lot of stars and stripes.
So with that shallower tub.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. For some reason I've fallen in love with that thing. It's amazing. I'm not sure why I like that smaller tub, but I do. It's just it's maybe it makes it feel lighter. Maybe that's about it. It's
Well,
just
no,
kind of
it is light. It's quite light. It's one of our, well, it is our lightest 2-person shelter. And when I first started working at Clam, I realized how versatile it is. A lot of folks will take one seat out and just run with one, and it'll be an oversized one man. A lot of folks will take the seats out altogether, depending upon, and a lot of this is regionally, right? Northern Illinois, or Southern Illinois rather, Northern Indiana, those folks don't get a whole lot of ice, so they're trying to cut weight so that they can shinny out there on 3 inches. You know what I mean? And so they'll pull the seats out completely and walk. You see that out east too as well, in a lot of states, and then even west. We've in the past we've offered models without seats just for that clientele, but no, I'm really excited for these 2 shelters, and the first handful of shows that we've been to, the consumers are super excited about them as well, as they're flying off the shelves.
And now you're heating them too. I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
This is a
those
great line
heaters
of
are.
heaters.
That's another one that I think people are really excited about. I was just working an event in Fargo at a retailer, and wow, we sold a pile of those new heaters. And everyone asks, so what makes this one different than that model or this brand? And it's pretty straightforward. And I didn't realize when we were discussing it how big of a deal that was to anglers. Um, it's variable heat. Something as simple as being able to take the 16,000 BTU heater and run it at, say, 12 and a half, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, as opposed to other models. I believe this is the only model that offers, that variable adjustability to the temperature, to the heat, where no longer is it just a medium, high, low, or medium, high, low, medium, high.
Yeah, so you're running, like, I think on both of these, do they, or is it one of the they're a ceramic burner or whatever? So there's one, and then there's two. Was it the Mr. Buddy heater? If you've got the big one, you either have one on
Yep.
lit up or two.
Yeah, so the larger unit there, the 16,000, that one does have the two ceramic plates. The smaller 10,000 has the single plate, and then the smaller sunflower looking deal. That guy there is one single as well. Very cool though. Like I said, people are digging them. They're all going to feature an electric start, electric push button start, so you don't have to do the click turn. And then just a really, really rugged, durable metal frame over the front. It just seems like those things always take a beating. And that was, if you're going to add something to those, I think that was the smart way to go, and just beef that frame system up.
So the blue is plastic then, and then the all the black is metal, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna do anything, because I got a big buddy and it's got the fan mode built into it, and I've used it like 4 times and the batteries are dead. I don't think I've ever changed the battery. So if you ever go to that model, make it plug into our lithium graph batteries, because they'll run forever.
That's right.
Like if you're right. Give you a little tip there, because them D batteries just burn up in those things like nobody's business. So
especially when it's cold out, I bet. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, but so with going back to that shack, Brian or Chasing Guy ticked me off the beat there a little bit. But when you guys bring out that shack with the Folds of Honor, what is the deal behind Folds of Honor? I'm guessing there's a proceeds that go to them, or I want to make sure we hit that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Folds of Honor is it's a group that they raise money in an effort to take care of spouses or children of wounded or fallen soldiers, and to see that they have the opportunity to go to college as far as scholarships. They've expanded that. They've expanded that effort now to encompass first responders. So, you know, your fire, your EMS, your police officers and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, and they've identified, and I'm gonna get this number wrong, but they've identified just a crazy number of families that would be eligible for assistance through them. That realistically, all they need to do is reach out. And so, you know, we, along with several of our retail partners, are doing what we can to help. And yes, a portion of each of the proceeds of all of our ISOPS products are going to Folds of Honor.
Awesome.
Which is awesome. I mean, hats off to you guys for coming up with that partnership. And, you know, if you're looking at any shacks, that's a great cause to maybe push you over the edge too, you know. For me, it would be so.
You know, the beautiful thing.
I mean, I have it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What you're saying?
One of the things that I love tremendously about working at Clam and you know, all of my colleagues, it's a tremendously patriotic and caring bunch of folks. You know, it I agree with you 100%. Like it's very, very, it warms the heart to know that we're doing something, you know, and realistically we're doing nothing, right? I mean, this is our day-to-day business. We're selling shacks, people are buying shacks, people are going fishing there, you know. But like you said, hey, I got a chance to do this and that. Well, perfect. I'm going to help these guys out as well. So you're right. It is a tremendous partnership. And we're doing a little bit more of that than we probably have in the past now, not just with veterans groups, but I don't know if you've seen our partnership with Grain Belt Beer.
Yeah.
I saw the buckets of beer.
That one's a fun one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to be looking for some around the Pierce, South Dakota area. I haven't been to the liquor store since I saw the post. So I'm hoping there's going to be some flying around here. I might know the beer guys pretty well to make sure I can get one.
You better make a phone call because it sounds like they're flying off the shelves.
You know, it's awesome. I honestly, when I first saw it, I thought, somebody playing a joke, you know, and like, oh, that's a good one. Then I realized it was for real. Like, oh, got me some.
Well, think about that one, right? I mean, you're going fishing. Most people grab something to drink, right? And you need a bucket. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 2 in 1. I mean,
yep. Yeah.
2 in 1, you know, and we all know them cans aren't coming back full, so we might as well. Might as well have a bucket to put our fish in.
There you go. No, that one's been a tremendously fun partnership, and they're a great group of folks to work with as well.
You guys really you expanded the product line immensely. I'm surprised. I shouldn't say I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but I was surprised at how far you went, even getting into the live sonar end of things with this Clam Live system. I thought you guys had a live, and I realized that you got to have your own live, but you get everything else. It's kind of neat. Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, so you're right. We did expand. Holy moly, have we expanded. I started with the company in 2014, and it was year one of tackle. And boy, howdy, when you start adding SKUs and colors and sizes and oh my Lord, we started adding SKUs like it was crazy. And I would hate to guess at where we're sitting at now SKU number wise, but the live stuff is just kind of our way of trying to provide our customers with another option in that arena, a durable warrior tough option to take care of their products. Albeit too, right? We're not trying to break the bank or reinvent the wheel. If you look at the handle, I mean, that's an adjustable handle. It might look somewhat familiar. You know, it stems from the idea of our net handle. We were on a fishing trip and our VP of sales said, why wouldn't this work as a transducer pole? And took it back to our engineers, and lo and behold, here we go. As far as the shuttle, it's just once again another way of taking things that we saw in the market and saying, okay, how can we make it better? How can we make it, you know, suit needs better? And like I said, they're very, very cool, and people are digging them. We did have to redesign our flasher bag a little bit. just to accommodate our shuttle as well as some of the larger screens that are out there. You can still get a 12 in there in our old one, because I've done it. It just becomes a little bit tighter than I think anybody would want to have to deal with. So a lot of those changes have been made. I think the carrying straps were moved a bit as well, just to make it a little bit easier to grab something now that's heavier than just a Vexilar and a battery, right?
Yeah, and they got heavy too until, well, I think it was the Garmin guy said, you better get an amped lithium because you're not going to like carrying that thing around. So when I carried it with the sealed lead battery all the way out to my pickup from the ice show in Sioux Falls, I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, oh man, I'll tell you, walking up and down the rocks or getting into a boat or walking across the ice with that big heavy thing, the lithium battery does lighten it up. But I think you guys have a shoulder strap on your bag as well.
There is a shoulder strap. Shoulder strap is absolutely, in my opinion, it's an absolute must. I mean, you throw the thing over your shoulder, now you have the ability to carry the transducer pole in one hand, and whether it's a bucket or your just a rod, all the things. I think it's just imperative to have that shoulder strap.
So
and you brought the
let me ask this. Does the bag stay on the damn case? Because I love my Garmin, but my bag literally falls off nonstop. And so my bag is sitting on the shelf and my unit is not in it, which irritates me.
There's actually a strap in the back that will strap your bag to the unit. So when you grab the unit, you grab it, the bag goes with it. Or if you grab the bag, obviously the unit's going to go with that as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's my only complaint about the Garmin bag. It literally just, the first time you unzip it and you lift it up, it falls off, and it's in your way. So that is awesome. I might be doing a new purchase here very soon on a new Garmin or a new Clam bag.
The flasher bag. One of the other cool things about that about the live pole that we offer is you'll notice it's got that big paddle for a handle. I didn't realize it, but it's also a kickstand. So it flips up, it flips down. So it's long enough so that it sticks out above, and that's all on a bearing as well. And you like, okay, I don't want it to move, because you build up the coils in your transducer cable spinning around looking for fish. Well, okay, I found a school over here. You just take that handle and tilt it down to where it's touching the ice or touching your snow, and now it's not going to move on you.
Oh, makes sense.
Kind of a little kickstand.
That's one thing about Clam products is it's not just designed by people that don't fish. You guys are out there all the time. Your pro staffs are bringing back ideas. It's products that are designed by fishermen for fishermen.
Yeah. No, I mean, we love to get out. That's for sure. I mean, last year we had to do a little more traveling than typical, but we still were able to get out and test a lot of this stuff and get it rolling. And like I said, that very pole was developed essentially, or the idea came from a fishing trip a long ways away up on Athapap and lake trout fishing. So yeah.
So when you talk about people that know what they're doing and working with people that actually fish, of course, you've got the Crappie Chronicle fellas that are big into it this year. You guys put a lot into this. Talk about this new line.
The new lineup of Niku. Yeah. That's also super exciting. And while Niku is the new for this year, and we're super excited about it, I don't want to forget about our Mackie plastics. I don't want folks to forget about our Mackie plastics, because those things are absolutely amazing as well. Two different types of products for two different types of scenarios. And but Niku is certainly cool. I don't know if it's been told to you, but in Japanese, Niku stands for meat. So that's the word for meat. I
wonder, maybe Bart said something about that.
I want to say Bart told us that when we had him on.
Bart doesn't miss much. He tells everything. But ultimately, you know, they've got the shrimp scent in them. It's a very durable plastic. And you know what? These guys, to your point, they put their heart and soul into trying to determine shapes, sizes, and colors. And you know, I think a lot of people are maybe a little surprised at the size of them. But what's funny about that is if you were to talk to, you know, Waldo, Griff, Pink, Bart, these jokers are fishing bigger baits than most people would anyway. And you see, if you've watched their you know, their episodes, they're catching fish.
Right.
They're catching the same fish you and I would catch, um, typically. And then you know, but they're also interesting getting the larger fish more interested because it's a larger profile bait. So I think there's something to that. I think anglers can take away the one thing. Well, one of the things is that, you know, don't be afraid to fish a larger profile bait. We were on a bite on Upper Red Lake and last year with crappies, the marketing team trying to film some assets, and man alive, we were actually we just kept upsizing and upsizing and upsizing in an effort to keep these larger crappies from absolutely choking this bait, because we didn't want to kill them. We just
Right.
wanted to take their picture and send them right back down the hole. And so, yeah.
Well, uh, there's a perfect example, you know,
Yeah.
that you can't tell how big that hook is, but I think it's a number 2 on a pinhead. That's
Yeah.
big.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But they have no problem with it.
Right.
They have
No,
no
no, no.
problem with it.
Yep. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
I
And it
did a
keeps
little
them from
digging.
getting it so deep. And I think that's something that you know, it's not just all about targeting giants, right? Well, giants are what we're all after, but you know, I don't want to catch one that takes a super tiny jig, and when they suck that thing in, it's all the way down their throat, you know.
Yeah, that's ugly. I get a gut ache from that, because you know darn well that fish is done and you're gonna
Yeah.
have to take it home. If you
Yep.
didn't plan on taking it home, you're taking it home anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
For sure.
So I scoured the internet yesterday knowing you were coming on, and the one thing that I've noticed about StreamYard, if I have a ton of pictures, because I could have had 20 more pictures, but I
Mhm.
scoured the internet for more clam products, and you guys blow my mind. If you're gonna do the ice camping, I mean, check this out. The clam microwave. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, I haven't quite seen that one yet. They must have not arrived. They must be late getting here.
But hang on. For
Uh-oh.
those who are into healthy eating, there is the new clam air fryer.
But wait, there's more.
Yes, there is.
Of course there is.
You guys do have an extensive product line. I mean, it really is impressive, you know, because it's everything. If a person just wanted to start ice fishing today, hey, I'm going to take up ice fishing. They really would only have to buy clam products, and they would have everything they need, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and you're right. And you know, and we catch a little bit of flack for this. It's like, oh, yeah, what don't you have? Well, you know, the reality of it is we kind of started the when I say we, I Dave Gens and a lot of his early followers started modern day ice fishing and have made it what it is today, right? And you know, with the Clam brand being a part of that, it's almost incumbent upon us, I feel, to offer the opportunity for exactly what you said, someone new wanting to get into the sport, but not just the products. I guess, guys, I want to emphasize the fact that, you know, we have Ice Team. Okay, that's a very, very large group of pro staff and promoters and influencers, whatever you wish to call them, that they are given specific instructions that our jobs or their jobs are to tell and not sell. Okay, we're not trying to just sell everything. I just want people ice fishing. I don't care what you're fishing out of. I just want you out there ice fishing. And because of that, they're going to stumble onto our products. They're going to find something that we offer that's for them. But to bring that all home, yes, our goal is to offer something for everyone and give folks that opportunity to be like, hey, I trust these folks. They know what they're doing. They helped me here. They started this way back when, and I have to look no further, you know, and price point all the way up to, hey, you know what? I fish 3 times a year. I don't need a super giant, heavy duty 1200 denier, canvas tent. You know what? We have what they need. Period. And we're very proud of that. And like I said, that's why a lot of these new items come out. Like the microwave and the air fryer. I mean, don't careful, careful.
Coming
You
in
may have just
2020.
designed a couple of new products for us, but
Right.
and that's the next thing, right? Like when you look at the market, well, where's it going, right? We have to get ahead of that. We have to try and figure out which direction makes the most sense and what do folks need? What do the people want? What are we missing? And we're not perfect at everything. We're always going to keep trying to be better. Even if we're damn good, we're going to always try and be better.
Yeah, you're damn good at it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and
Thank
here's
you.
the thing,
Thank
like, I mean, in our all our lifetimes, look where we've come in ice
Oh,
fishing.
yeah.
I mean, when I first started out, it was 3 pieces of plywood and a blue tarp. And that's
Yep.
what we had, right?
Yep.
3 pieces of plywood, you flipped it up, you put some rods in, and that was your ice shack. Built, every couple years you'd have to build a new shack.
Yep.
And now I'm sitting in a $60,000 team lodge right now tonight. Like that's the world has come to something where I was telling the guy just the other day, we were talking, he's like, yeah, I took a water tank off our farm that had a hole in it, and I cut a door in it, and I cut some holes in the floor. And I said, that's funny because my neighbor down the road, that was like one of the first permanent ice shacks I fished out of. It was a water tank that we cut a door in and cut holes in the floor, and that was what we ice fished in. But this industry is evolved. But the best part about it is, like I tell everybody, if you want to get into fishing and you want to do stuff, ice fishing is by far, it's like every other fishing activity we do. The old saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. No, that's wrong. It's give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish, he'll spend a shitload of money. It never ends, right? Like it never ends what we do. But
I thought it was give a man a fish one day, and he'll ask for another one the next day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but you think about where we've come and all the different products, and I remember going out and lining up 2 points. I mean, this grain bin over here with this rock on the shore, and that's where you fish. Now we have GPS. Now we have all these things. The evolution is great, but for a guy getting into it, for $150, you can go ice fish. You don't need the $60,000 lodge ice shack. You don't need the $3,000 Garmin. You can go out and ice fish for a couple $100.
Yep. And and that's the beauty. The hub shelters have really helped with that as well. But what's unique about that, and you just, when you're in the industry and you're in the business, you think about all these things, and it's like, okay, so why aren't we selling hub shelters? This would have been not last year, but the year before. Well, why are they not moving? Well, guess what? There was feet of snow and not enough ice to drive a vehicle in a lot of the area where we are here in Minnesota. Up north, certainly they're plowing roads, everything's great. But that's how families get out, right? It's
Right.
Because how do you I was on the phone with a gentleman yesterday. He had 6 kids. So, how are you gonna pull that off? You're just not. I mean, there's not you'd have to have a bunch of fish traps trying to hook them together, or fish in very close proximity. The hub shelters have made that type of fishing perfect. You can keep an eye on your kids, you can keep them entertained, and then that's spun into camping. I mean, we talk about, what's next, right? Well, same thing. We were like, how do we, what's next? And someone mentioned the word clamping. camping on the ice in a Clam. So boom, we just started going down that path, right? And started promoting it. And now it's become all the rage. I mean, you don't need a $60,000 Team Lodge fish house, right? You can get a $700 hub shelter and some flooring at a local hardware store, and boom, you're out on cots and sleeping bags and enjoying a weekend on the ice.
We have a question. Chris wants to know if you have any plan to add storage gear boxes for wheelers and snow machines.
Good question.
Oh, Bobby. No. At this time, I am not aware of any plans for storage boxes and whatnot. But never say never. We've got an engineer in the back that anybody that's seen or fished with Dave Gens on the ice, he's that snow machine of his it's like a bass boat on the ice. I think you could haul a shelter in the front, a shelter in the back, an auger. I know he's got a brand new sled. I'm bringing it to St. Paul in the morning, but it won't quite be done. But yeah, I can only imagine what that thing's going to look like. But yeah, nothing at this time, Chris.
But that's the thing is, like, there's whole social media pages dedicated to Trick Your Tarp and all these guys that are doing this stuff and adding these features, and it's crazy.
Well,
it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Matt Johnson actually started several years ago when he worked at Thorne Brothers. He started an event called Trick Your Trap, which I think is what the Facebook page you're talking about. I don't think it's his page or anything like that. I think it's just spun off of it, but where it was a contest of people taking their fish houses and dialing them in, and I mean, these guys wheel these things in, and I look at them and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? It's got to take you 6 hours to set this all up, or it's got to weigh 80 pounds. You just added 280 pounds to the thing. But storage compartments, lunch boxes over here. You got, it's over my head. I'm just looking to go catch a fish.
You watch these guys that plywood the deck, and then the chairs on top of the plywood, then you fold that down and it flips out into a bed, but you can still fish over here. And it's just like, I mean, at this point, you literally have to drive your truck out on the ice because you can't pull the thing.
Yep.
Right. I think it's the North Metro Ice Show, right, in Ramsey that has.
That's where it's kind of morphed into. It all used to be Thorne Brothers had a fall sale that kind of kicked it all off, and they used to host it there, and then that North Metro Ice Show in Ramsey started, and that event kind of popped up there. So yeah, it's pretty cool, the stuff that people do with their fish houses, and quite honestly, that leads us to, well, what can we do to help facilitate that, right? So then you start looking at products like our Clam Lock. Okay, Clam Lock, and you can pretty much do anything you want with it and put this accessory here, and there's a new product that came out this year that allows you to essentially clamp on to any of the poles within a fish trap and then screw a Clam Lock base plate onto it. So then all of those shelters or all of those accessories are now able to be used in a flip over shelter as well as a hub shelter. But there again, you'll appreciate this one. But wait, there's more. You can take that same base plate and mount it in the back of your trailer, in your garage, storage unit, wherever, and take those same accessories and just pop them on the wall, take them down. One of the most unique and efficient ways of storing ice rods that I've seen was a gentleman that had a bunch of Clam Lock base plates lined on the inside of a trailer, and he said, well, if I'm going walleye fishing, I go over here and I grab this 4-place rod holder. Well, there's 4 walleye sticks. Well, if we're going pan fishing, well, okay, here's 4, and it's just, and then they mount somewhere on his machine, and away he goes.
I love it. I use it for my TV. So I've got my Roku TV in my skid shack. I've got it in my wheelhouse, and I've got it in my new is it Nanook XL?
Yep.
The one I won from Bart and the boys at the meetup in Lake Pryor last year.
Okay.
I was gonna buy one, and they had one for a raffle, and I told the lady, I said, "Hey, my name is Chasen Walter, Chasen, just so you know how to pronounce it when I win."
Way.
I said, "I'm gonna win the thing." So what happens? Bart calls me after the whole thing's over and goes, "Hey, dude, you're not gonna believe it, but you won the ice house." Like, no way. So we had to drive back down there, and it was fun. So we're going to use it. We didn't get to use it last year because it was the winter that wasn't. So we get to use it. So I've got a clam lock in there for the TV, and it works from everywhere I go. That clam lock, and it holds it in place. And the cool thing is you can bounce across the ice, and it does not pop out.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool. Like I said, we've got an amazing group of engineers in an R&D team that's just constantly trying to make it better, trying to make it more convenient, easier. Because let's face it, right? If it's easier and more convenient, you're going to do it more often. And as I said previously, that's all we really want. We want people out there on the ice, enjoying that sport and enjoying our sport and catching some fish and enjoying time out there. But to speak also, we've taken that, just to prove we're always trying to find a way. I don't know if you're familiar with our screen shelters, our quick set screen tents in the summertime. I mean, that's legitimately okay, what more can we do with a hub shelter? What more can we do with this? Is there a way? And one of our engineers was like, well, we could cut the sides out and we could put screens in, and boom. Well, who doesn't want to have a bug-free outdoor activity in the dead of summertime in under a minute, right?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
I first saw him in Lewis Drugstore. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, it's amazing. And here's the thing. You guys have gone full circle. So you can go out, you can buy the rod, the reel, the line, the lures. I mean, you go buy everything, and you can fish a tournament and win prizes and money, and you've got to be kidding me. So, I mean, it completely comes full circle.
Absolutely. That Trap Attack tournament, it's kind of fun because back in the early days, kind of how Ice Team started, it was a tournament series called the Trap Attack. Dave Gens was a big part of that, as well as many others. And they would travel all over, and these were big money ice fishing derbies, and they were called the Trap Attack. That was just Dave Gens's, the name he gave it, and he still hosts his own Trap Attack, but it's an invite only deal in the spring. But man alive, that name is just cool. There's a ton of history behind that name, and as a brand, we didn't want to let that name die. And we wanted the general public to understand, and kind of live the roots and keep that Trap Attack name, on people's minds and on their tongues. So we brought it back a few years back as a fish donkey online tournament, so it can be all inclusive. And man, people can fish it in Canada. They can fish it in Maine, New Hampshire. They can, it doesn't matter where you are. Just go out and catch some fish and have some fun. And it's been a huge success.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, you can do it within your party.
Yep.
If you've got 5 or 6 guys or 10 or 12, it's all on the fish donkey. Everybody does it, and you can still have do Calcutta, do whatever, put $100 in, $20 in, and whoever wins the tournament, top of that group. It's fantastic how that works.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun too. That's the other thing. Like you're gonna see that it's and every year, I mean, we'll have quite a few people that sign up. It's not an opportunity. It's not really a money making endeavor by any stretch. But there are costs that are incurred just with using an app such as that. So our goal is to essentially just kind of cover that with getting people signed up then, and just having a blast. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got someone there that essentially is going to be spending their weekend verifying fish all day, every day.
Well, that's what Darren and Bonnie do, right? So
until it's done. So
right.
but it's a lot of fun. That's a good one. And what we love about it is it doesn't matter where you're at. You can get out there and play along.
We have a question about the tournament from Craig Euler. He says, ask you about catching one fish and winning the trap attack. I guess there must be a story there.
Dang it, Craig. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. So it was my first Dave Gens Invitational trap attack ever. And it's kind of a cool deal where you get to, everybody just kind of decides who they're going to fish with. It's not teams, it's not individuals. It's just, you just go fishing. Well, I was paired up with a group. It was Craig, Jason Durham, Tony Mariotti, and I don't remember.
How'd you draw the short straw?
Dan Hogue was there. Yeah, right. And Chad Moans. And the whole plan was we're just going to get up early and then we were going to drive because you can fish anywhere. So we drove. Oh, I don't even remember where we drove. It was like an hour and a half. And we were told we were going to meet Tony at a certain lake. And we got there and Tony's like, oh yeah, I could have cared less about the tournament. I paid my $30. I'm in the tournament. I was just there to experience something. I mean, heck, Dave Gens invited me to this thing, right? Why would I not go? Anyway, we get there and Tony's like, yeah, we got some holes drilled here. You guys can just jump in or whatever. He's like, the crappies are biting out there. That bite's going to die as soon as the sun gets all the way up. But, we're getting some here, picking them off. Well, lo and behold, I basically, another employee was out a long ways out. So I went out to meet him for the crappie bite and I didn't even take a rod. I just went out there to shoot the breeze with the guy. And he's like, you need to go get a rod. I'm like, nah, man, I just want to hang out and talk. And lo and behold, long story short, I go back to the rest of the group, start fishing. I catch, it's just shy of a 1 pound sunfish. And they're like, oh yeah, that might do it. And I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah. Okay. Turns out in that same hole, I caught the winning sunfish, which I had people that have been going to this thing for 10 years upset with me because they've been trying to win this, I didn't even know what I had done. And and there was some money involved, right? I won some money, but it's a little bitty plaque, you guys. I'm telling you, it's the coolest plaque ever now that I know what it all means, right? Sure. But it's legitimately the one. And what was funny is Dave's like, so you can only win one, but you have the first place bluegill and the second place crappie. Caught all out of the same hole. And so there is a picture I should have sent. If I'd have known this was going to come up, I'd have sent you the picture. So Tony drilled the holes. Durham brought the pizza from the gas station for breakfast. Euler drove the truck. I caught the fish. So there's a picture of the four of us standing there and they're all looking at me. I'm holding my plaque and they're looking at me like, really, dude? And it just says, we won. So Euler, if you're still there and you have that, you might as well just send that in too.
So Chris says
that was really cool. So
I'm guessing there's another. Go ahead.
That? Oh, I took the money that I won and got a replica of that fish made, and it's in my office. The only fish mount I have in my office, and it's right next to the plaque, and it's pretty special. It's pretty special because of how it happened, where it happened, when it happened. But honestly, guys, ice fishing is a social sport, and I caught it with a lot of my dear friends, and it's fun. It's fun. They give me a hard time, but it's fun.
There must be another story behind call your buddy Donkey Daryl for a deal. Chris said, call your buddy Donkey Daryl.
You guys should just cut Chris off. He's going to be nothing but trouble.
So let's hear can you tell the Donkey Darren story? Or
I don't even know the Donkey Darren story other than I just met him at a walleye tournament on Lake of the Woods earlier. He walked in asked. He just walked into this giant cabin with a bunch of people. It's Darren from Fish Donkey, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Darren," and he did it there. And when he got to me, I just told him I was Matt Johnson.
That's funny.
I'm kind of a goofball.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. Ashley, hello.
So Amy Munsinger had a comment earlier when you were telling your story, and now I add it for kids: the Clam Kid trap attack.
That is true. It's kind of ironic. Amy had and I had chatted, and she had expressed to me her desire to do a like a trap attack like we do, but for kids. And I'm like, you know what? I like the idea. I'm like, well, we'll see. And I don't remember exactly what the catalyst was, but there was something that told all of a sudden it was like, boom, yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to talk to Amy, and yeah, it's happening. Her and she's partnered up with a group, FAM, Future Anglers of Minnesota, that helps get kids out there, and she's partnered up with them, and we're going to be right there behind her, helping where we need to, and getting that up and running for them. So yeah, two opportunities.
So, okay, so the first one, the one for big people is in January.
Well, and it's for anybody. It's for anyone.
Or,
However,
right, or for anybody.
Yep.
But the one for the kids is that, I think, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's in February, right?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know. But yeah, Amy will, and there again, once we get some more details there, we gotta make her through some of these shows here right now. Things have been a little bit crazy, but we're gonna come out of this, and we're gonna have a lot of stuff for folks, and just ways to encourage people to get out and get to fishing.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. Of course, you and Amy have done some announcing for the Minnesota Tournament Trail, right?
Yep. We've done a little bit of everything. That me and the Minnesota Tournament Trail. That's kind of, I don't. One thing I'm told that I do well is I smack my cheeks a lot. I talk. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. And I really I'm okay if people laugh at me, and it's whatever. So yeah, emceeing that has been a ton of fun. I also am one of the guys that a lot of folks see it on the Ultimate Panfish League with Matt in the wintertime on the ice, just kind of interviewing teams and doing the weigh-in live, and yeah, just interacting with folks is kind of my thing, man. I absolutely love it.
Tom Seberg says, Camo Hub, 100% waterproof. I'll buy 3 of them.
So
and then he says, we've all been waiting for someone to come out with one. So a Camo Hub, 100% waterproof, combination deer hunting blind and ice fishing.
Well, I tell you what, the beauty of all of that is we did one. You did? It was the Bigfoot 2000. It was camouflage. It was thermal. It had shoot through mesh windows, as well as you could take those out, swap them with a TPU window. It was pretty good size. It was perfect for folks if you were going to take someone out, in a wheelchair. Loved it for that opportunity. But for a turkey hunt blind, it was pretty doggone big, man. But yeah, I mean, we've played around in the hunting world, and the honest truth is, we just belong in the fishing world. When I first started, we were sitting on a pile of ice armor that was duck hunting camo, blaze orange, and we were dabbling with hunting blinds. I firmly believe Clam Outdoors had the first full thermal hunting blind.
Really?
That's your typical hunting blind size. Now, granted, this is back in the day when you could have bought an Ameristep blind at any hardware store for $150. Ours came in at $398 retail, but they were amazing. They really were. I have people ask for them yet today, but people weren't. The market wasn't ready for a $400 hunting blind. Is the reality?
I think they might be ready now.
Yep, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
they are. They are every hunting season.
They are, but are they? That's the real thing, right? There's so many brands, there's so many people doing it,
Oh,
and
100%.
that's the toughie, right? And the other thing too is we have to sell it to a retailer, right? I mean, direct sales really isn't our game. We've got a lot of very, very important retail partners that we work with, and they're important to us, and we don't want to do anything that's gonna kind of rock their world. And most of them now have their own hunting blinds, if that's a market they're into. So
Yeah.
we did dabble, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but if you're still listening, by all means, there's probably some out there on the secondary market. It was called the Bigfoot XL 2000, the Sportsman model. That would have been a fully thermal camouflage shelter.
Wow. I'm glad somebody asked. It was Tom, I think. That's cool.
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. So you guys have really done it all.
Well, yeah, we've at least tried it all, and
Yeah.
then, like I said, there's some things that just, it doesn't, they don't go, and that's okay too.
Yeah, that's all right. I know. I just want to show this again because
I think you're leaning towards the air fryer.
The St. Paul Ice Show.
So air fryer versus microwave, is that your vote?
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I think they take a little less juice. Microwave's big and clumsy, and it's just hard to clean. So
We're gonna have to come out with the Clam generator to run it.
oh, there you go.
Well,
Now you're thinking. Or I'll ask Craig.
But we laugh at that stuff, right? But like with the popularity of Wheelhouse, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's where Clam Lock, that's where that came from.
Sure.
How do we make a product to embrace that market, right? How do we make a product to help the Wheelhouse folks? What are their needs? What is that? What are they missing? Because think about it, right? Your Wheelhouse manufacturers are manufacturing wheelhouses. What are we talking about here? What's going on?
That was a Clam flushless toilet. Chad said he thought it was a Clam flushless toilet.
Yeah, but that's Cummings. He spends a lot of time in the toilet. Oh my Lanta.
That's funny. That's
But yeah,
that's the perfect place to end right there.
Here, I was saying, here a guy try to be serious, and Cummings come on here and just shoots it all down the toilet. Figuratively,
you had a lot
and
of friends commenting. I love it. I love it. Thayne, it's been great to have you on. Thank you very much. Merry
You're
Christmas
very
to you and your family. I wish I could see you in St. Paul. I decided I'm not going.
Oh, there was actually a bet between myself and my new friend Greg that we would see you, because he thought you might be showing up, and I said, he's kind of on the fence. He's like, I think he's gonna miss it enough that he might just get in the car and drive. So
let's see you Sunday.
You never know. Again.
I tell you what. Oh my gosh, that guy.
Oh wow.
But no, in all seriousness, like I said, we saw a lot of cool stuff going in today. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff at the show, and honestly, people are excited. It's going to be a great season. We're off to a running start, and you know what? You look at the weather. I don't see anything holding us back. So here we go. Let's get it.
I've been at a lot of St. Paul Ice shows when I was in the lodge booth for years, and several years we were waiting to get on the ice, and it was always a good year when you could be on the ice at St. Paul or just before. And we're on the ice in most places, small ponds, stuff like that. But, be careful. Like, I mean, that's the big thing. You guys got clam suits that float. You've got the picks. You've got all the safety stuff. But this ice ain't 100% safe. Wasn't there a picture on social media today? Somebody tried to put a wheelhouse on and it went through.
That was some of my fear, honestly, is that people were so excited to go, they were going to push it.
Yep.
And thankfully, ice has come on fast and strong and relatively thick. So we're good. Like I said, but you know, as they say, no ice is ever 100% safe. But there again, we're doing our dangest to offer products that float. I had a conversation on a gentleman that had some misfortune and went in last winter. And he just reached out to, and I thought honestly, he wanted me to call him back. I called him back. I honestly thought we were going to be talking about float suit. He didn't own a float suit, but you know what he did own? He owned a pair of $9.99 is what he meant.
Picks.
That's his price. Ice picks that he bought, blue Clam Outdoors ice picks that afforded him the opportunity to call and tell me his story. So you know, don't want to by any means end on a negative note, but just know that, you know what, like I said, we make products for that as well. And, you know, there again, you can never be too safe.
So true. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on. Thank you very much. Thanks
Absolutely.
for the laughs. Thanks for the comments. Merry
You bet.
Christmas to all. And like Tom said, have a great night, all. Thank you.
And you as well. We'll see you guys.
Thanks, Thayne. Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah, man.